Dad Plus 4, and I wanted to do a video on this topic forever because I just watched this. Now I know I'm late compared to you guys. I just watched Merlin a couple weeks ago on Netflix, and it was a television show at first. And you know how Netflix get their shows from TV and from different Hollywood production companies, things like that, and create their own originals. So today, the reason why I'm making this now is because today I find out Ridley Scott is assembling a production crew for Merlin Saga. Now, Merlin is really famous as far as dealing with Sir Arthur. So let me read a little bit about this, and I'm gonna do a review of all of the Merlin's TV show that I saw on Netflix, and you guys need to watch that. Definitely, if you're into like magic and dragons and things like that, and you're still waiting on Game of Thrones. So, director Ridley Scott, he did not officially sign on, but they're doing things behind the scenes. He's putting together a production crew, and I'm reading from my notes. And it looks like Disney is producing this. Disney is setting up Merlin Saga based on the 12-book fantasy book series written by T.A. Barron. I love this because I'm an author myself. So the original novel tells the origin story of young Merlin in the years before he became King Arthur's favorite sorcerer. Scott Free Productions is producing the film, which Lord of the Rings trilogy and King Kong screenwriter Philippa Boyens, I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, handling the screenplay. With Scott apparently in place, Omega Underground is reporting on some new additions to the film production. And they have a bunch of other things going on with that as well, and tells more about Scott. You guys can Google that if you want to. But I really want your input on Merlin and King Arthur and things like that. What do you guys want to see in that? Did you watch the series on Netflix of Merlin already? Okay, so Merlin on Netflix, the series, is dealing with a young King Arthur. And they had reportedly talked about bringing, I believe it was like season 6. It ended at season 5, but they reportedly talked about bringing a 6th season to be the last one because it has so many fans. Now, 5 seasons in any show or whatever is really long because that takes years. And I watched it like I was just watching it back to back every night I came home. So Merlin, I thought was kind of cheesy at first until I started watching more of it. I'm like, well, this I'm kind of liking this, because you see a lot of these wizards and things like that. They be older guys, so I kind of didn't like the actor at first, but then I caught on to it. I'm like, wow, I really like this. I'm gonna give it a chance after the first couple episodes, and I started really getting into it and loving the screenplay and just all of the characters in it. And you have some of the Moorish characters in there as well. If you know about history, you know that Moors were in Britain and different parts of Europe for like over 700 years. And it's just amazing that they included a couple of them in there. Even one of the greatest Moorish, he was a Roman emperor, I believe, or he was a Roman general. They called it something else back then. I can't think of the word right now, but his name was Maurice, I believe, and they have a statue of him in Britain in the British Museum now. And I would love to go over there one day and just take videos and pictures of that. But King Arthur, Round Table, and things like that's all a great history and symbolization of different things that maybe we don't even know, that represented something else if you read history and different things like that. So you guys check that out. I think it's really interesting. And let me see if I can find the name of that show. um, for Netflix. Let me see. It was called Merlin. That's all. And a little bit of it. Let me see. First episode was 2008. So that's how old it is. And I'm really just not catching on because I don't have time to look at everything. But I really love this show. And this just gave me an idea to make a video on it. The action-packed fantasy drama revisits the saga of King Arthur and his wizard. Now, the one thing I didn't really like, he couldn't tell Arthur until like season 5 that he was a wizard because his father was killing anyone that practiced magic. And if you read history and if you study anything outside of Christianity or things like that, especially in Rome, they were like burn you alive and things like that. They did not play about that religion and cult and things like that. That's why they was always into some kind of war, mostly because of the religion and different tribes. They wanted to practice their own spirituality and things like that. That's why we're kind of lucky to be living in certain areas where religion is freedom provided by the government, things like that. They're not hunting people down like that over here in America. I don't know about where you at. You know what I'm saying? So let's get back to this. Prince Arthur is known to be the heir to the throne, and he actually gets the sword out of stone with Merlin, the magical sword. Of course, Merlin has something to do with that, and he talks to the dragon and things like that. The dragon helps him out a lot. I believe the guy that played Magneto, he might have been in the Lord of the Rings as well. Let me see right here. John Hurt. No, I know that voice. John Hurt played the dragon. He wasn't in Lord of the Rings, but if you listen to his voice, you recognize that voice. So Merlin is also forced to deal with King Uther's Great Purge, which I just talked about. Uther was King Arthur's father in Merlin, and he was the one killing all of the people that practice magic and different forms of spirituality and what they call paganism today, which it really wasn't paganism at all, but that's what they call it. So you guys check that out. If it's still on Netflix, I recommend you buying that for your library. If you love things like that, if you love Game of Thrones, and if you love dragons and just magic, I recommend you getting that, which I'm going to do myself. Get that in my personal library. And you guys, please comment below. Let me know what you think about that. Ridley Scott bringing that movie. I think Ridley Scott is one of the greatest directors ever. He just messed up when he made that Gods of Egypt or something like that. I just thought that was pure garbage. If we're going to make a movie about Egypt, let's have some historical accuracy. Even though we can make movies with fantasy things and different things like that, but at least make one of your movies kind of historical accurate. You know what I'm saying? Especially with Egypt, it's really a sensitive topic. But that's them. That's them, and a lot of people liked it, and a lot of people hated it. So it is what it is. You guys let me know what you think about that. Please comment below. See you next time on Dad Plus 4.